Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Beautifully Aging. I'm so excited to have you here with us today because we're going to be talking about something exciting to me, something that's near and dear to my heart, which is being physically active. And I know you might say, well, what do you mean being physically active? And that's exactly what I mean, being physically active. So today we're going to specifically talk about roadblocks that become building blocks, right? So this is the beginning of the summer now, and it's getting warm. The weather is changing, and perhaps you have not been as active as you would like to be. Perhaps in the wintertime it was cold, especially if you live in Minnesota. It was cold in Minnesota. If you're in New York, it was cold in New York also. But the good news is that now that we're going into the summer in just a couple of weeks, and just wanted to check in with you to see how you're doing, to see if there's any roadblocks that may have gotten in your way, and how can we turn those roadblocks into building blocks. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, turning roadblocks into building blocks. So what is a roadblock? And so I'm going to define it as, and according to the Webster Dictionary as well, any hindrance or obstacle that gets in the way of an objective. So that's when we think about roadblocks, that we're thinking about any hindrance or obstacle that gets in the way of an objective. You ever see a roadblock if you're a driver and you're driving down the road and then there's a roadblock and then you have to detour, or you have to go another way, or you have to turn around, or you have to stop even. So think about it like that. So in terms of exercise, it can be a roadblock, maybe motivation. That could be a roadblock for you. Parts of your body, perhaps you're in some type of pain, and so that could be a roadblock, keeping you from exercising, keeping you from moving, right? Resources, maybe I don't have enough resources. You may say, I don't have enough resources. I want to join a gym, but I don't have enough resources to join a gym or some type of facility. Another roadblock may be energy. I'm always tired. I'm always working, or I simply just don't have enough energy to get up and to do what I need to do, what I want to do. Another one might be maybe you just feel like I can't do it because financially, again, like I said, financially you don't have what you need, or you may have a lack of confidence. Right? You may feel like, why do this? I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how to do it. So that may be a roadblock also. You may have a fear of injury, or you may have some balancing problems, especially if you're older, an older adult, you may feel like, I don't want to fall. I know, for an example, for myself, I bought this bicycle. I was just gun-ho. I'm going to become a biker. I'm going to be biking on the street. I'm going to be biking wherever I go. I put baskets on my bike. I got the lock and everything. But then I realized when I bought the bike, I really wanted a bike so badly that I bought the bike, but it wasn't the right fit for me. So whenever I got on the bike, I felt like it was too high for me and that I was going to fall off. So I really didn't ride the bike that much. As a matter of fact, when we were cleaning out our garage this past summer, I decided to give the bike to my granddaughter, who's obviously much taller than I am and would be a perfect fit for her. And what I decided I'm going to do is probably just have to buy a new bike. So I can understand about fear of injury. My fear was that I'm going to fall off this bike. It's so big, and it is not probably going to go well for me. So I understand that you may have a fear of injury, especially if you're older, right? Or you may even have some balancing issues. Maybe you can't balance yourself the way you want to, and that becomes a roadblock. Also, like I said, being tired, being fatigued, some type of illness, that could be a roadblock also. And then my attitude, sometimes our attitudes can get in the way of us doing anything. And so more than half the battle is, what is my thinking? How am I, what we call stinking thinking, right? And so we're going to look at all those as roadblocks. But then, on the other hand, the good news is that for every roadblock, we can take those roadblocks and they can become building blocks. So what is a building block? Basically, a basic unit from which something is built up, right? So something basic that we build up, that becomes a building block. So we're going to stack things one at a time, and we're going to see what works and what works for you, taking your roadblocks and seeing how do they become building blocks so that we build something up. So one of the things that we talk about, that the USDA talks about, that the Minnesota Department of Public Health and across the United States, is that we should all be getting, adults, exercise at least 30 minutes a day. So when you think about 30 minutes a day, 5 days out of the week, so that's 150 minutes of exercise a day. Guess what? You don't have to do 30 minutes consistently. So that's sometimes people think, oh, I don't have the energy to do 30 minutes straight. Guess what? You don't have to do 30 minutes straight. You can do what I call 10 times 3, 10 minutes, another 10 minutes, another 10 minutes. So increments. So you can do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, 10 minutes in the evening. Or you can do 10 minutes, take a break, another 10 minutes, take a break. So I say 3 times 10 equals a win, right? Or 3 times 10 equals a win-win. So think, if you're not able to do 30 minutes straight at one time with your exercise, think about increments of 10. We can break it down even more. We can say, even if you're really starting from the basics, you can do 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay, so however you get it in is how you get it in. Remember, exercise is about you and what makes you feel good and what you enjoy doing. Okay, so let's think about things that are building blocks also. So building blocks might be motivation, right? Again, your body parts that can motivate you. Like, oh, what can I move? Well, I can move this. I can move my arms, right? I can move my legs. I can move my head, right? I can stand up. I can sit down. Those are the parts of your body that you can move. I could walk. I have energy. Finding out, where is my energy at? What part of the day did I have the most energy at? That can be a motivation. Sometimes we could exercise during a time when we are least motivated. Again, I know, me being an instructor and a trainer, and a fitness instructor and a personal trainer, oftentimes I have to, for my own personal exercise, I have to find, when am I most motivated? So for me, I'm a morning person. So in the mornings is my times that I will do my own personal exercise. There was a time when I had taken a class. I was doing a class. I was the fitness instructor in the class. And it was an evening class. I'll never forget, it was a Zumba class. It was in the evening. And if anyone has ever done Zumba, Zumba is a high energy class, lots of movement. And so they said, well, we want you to teach this Zumba class. And it was at 6:30 in the evening. Now, I had already worked all day. And then I was teaching a Zumba class after my regular job. And so I found myself sitting in my car, taking naps. I was trying to drink some coffee to get some energy. And it was just a task for me to go in and teach the class. So needless to say, after about 6 weeks, I realized that this was not going to work for me. And so I had to switch the class around and give it to someone else, because I said, every time that I'm teaching this class, I have to push myself, and it became so much work that it wasn't even fun for me anymore to do it. And so when I teach morning classes, because I know this is where my energy is here. This is where I'm going to give it up my all. This is where I'm going to have the most fun. This is where I'm going to be like, woo! That's where I'm at. I am going to do that. And so most of my classes are in the morning. However, there's a class here and there that I might do in the evening. Like I just taught a class at my church, a small group class, and it was a fitness class, and that was in the evening. And actually that was fun. So maybe I'm changing. Okay. So, but anyway, finding the motivation, finding where your energy is at, and making, and if you have the capacity or the ability to do your exercises during that time, then that becomes a building block for you. Also, knowing that, having faith, and I talked about a roadblock can be not enough faith, but then the building block can also be in having faith that I can do what I need to do, that I'm going to do this, that I have faith that I'm going to exercise. And so when we think about now the summer is coming, June 21st, the first day of summer, right? And so you've been maybe sedentary for the last few months, but now the weather's changed and you have a goal. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to get out. I'm going to do exercises, and I'm going to be on my way. And so I say this is excellent, right? So what are the components of exercise? What can you do? You got cardio, endurance, getting your heart up, getting your heart pumping, walking up steps, walking around the park, walking to the park, walking around the park, going to the lakes, walking down the street, walking in your house. So you have so many options for getting your heart rate up. Climbing steps, swimming, hiking, cycling, exercise, biking, row machine, tennis. Now we have the new thing, what I call this new pickleball. I was watching them play pickleball, and they look like they were really getting it in. So pickleball, dancing, yes, dancing too, dancing in your house, dancing when you're washing your dishes, dancing when you're doing your chores, putting your favorite music on and dancing. You don't have to go out to the club to dance. You can do it right in your house. Putting music on and moving. Gardening. There's so many. Mowing your lawn. So many different things that can get that heart rate up. We're talking about cardio endurance, right? And getting that 10 minutes in, getting that 20 minutes in. You'll be surprised once you start hearing the music, putting on some of your favorite music and just dancing around the house and dancing or doing whatever it is that you want to do, but getting that heart rate up. Then the other component is strength training, building those muscles. And so I talked about 150 minutes or 30 minutes a day, which is 5 days out of the week. But at least 2 of those days should be some type of muscle strength. So even if you're getting the 5 days, try to make at least 2 of those days muscle strengthening type exercises. And no worries, if you don't have weights, guess what? You can do water bottles. If you have water bottles, if you drink, the plastic water bottles, using that, strengthening exercises, that will work also. Okay, so again, if you don't have weights, if you don't have hand weights or dumbbells, no worries. Use water bottles, and that will work also, okay? Then you got flexibility, right? So then you want to try to get some stretching in as well. So when we think about flexibility, we're talking about the range of motion around a joint to be able to move freely. And so you want to make sure you're getting some stretching in, right? And so that's important too. So you can take classes, or you can stretch at home, whatever you want to do, touching your toes. So a lot of people like to do yoga. There's just basic stretching. So you decide what you like to do, but making sure that you're stretching, making sure that you're reaching up, stretching wide, side to side. Yes, there you go. Yeah, so nothing like a good stretch, bringing the shoulders up and back and relaxing, stretching. So you want to get that in. And then for those, again, older, but not even just for the older, for those of us who are older, but even younger people, working on your balance. That is so important. And the importance of the balance is that it helps you to maintain your standing and stability, so that you're able to move about, that you can able to stand without falling. And it also helps your risk, again, from the risk of falling. Again, we talked about one of the roadblocks is, your ability, thinking that you're going to fall and your risk of falling, but that as you work on your balance, once you get it in your mind that you're not going to fall, and then you strengthening, right, you're becoming more stable, then you will be able to do the exercises as well. And some of the balance exercises, there's Tai Chi, there's yoga, there's posture exercises. Did you know that your posture has a lot to do with your balance and stability also? And so paying attention to that, and speaking of balance and posture, let me make sure that I'm sitting up straight and correct. Okay, so those are some of the things that we want to be able to do. And as you move into the summer of exercising, the summer of getting out, the summer of staying fit or getting fit, because remember, it's never too late, right? As long as you have breath, as long as you can move. Someone asked me when I was teaching the class at my church, and we had each person who was in the class that had an opportunity to share what their thoughts was and what God was speaking to them about in terms of fitness and being fit. And there was one young lady who mentioned about exercise, and she talked about what is it that you want to do and how do you want to do it. And I remember, and what is your what is your goal? Not your goal. What did she ask? The question was, when you think about fitness, what is the one thing, the one expression, or the one saying that you like? And I remember I said, just move. Just move something, no matter what it is. So that's my phrase that I like to use. Just move something. I just say, whatever you move, it's okay, right? And so that's my phrase. Whatever you move, it's okay. However great you move it, whether it's a little movement and whether it's a big movement, just move something. And so that's what we're talking about, turning those roadblocks into building blocks. Right? And so sometimes you may so if you're starting out and if you do have pain, one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do is to speak with your healthcare provider about the discomfort and about the symptoms that you may be experiencing, okay? So that's important too, that you speak to someone about that, especially if you're new, to exercising. And I know if you might have heard the expression, no pain, no gain. Well, that's not always the truth, right? Because sometimes pain is pain, and that needs to be dealt with, and that needs to be looked at as well. So you want to make sure that if you are having pain and you are feeling discomfort, that you do take that time, especially if you're an older person. And when I'm saying older, I'm saying the underside of 50, right? But if you have pain, regardless of what age you are, I'm never going to say push past the pain. No, because pain is real. And so we do need to deal with it, especially if you've had an injury. And so I'm going to say, check in with someone. But also, if it's a mild pain or if it's not much discomfort, then being physically active can help to alleviate the pain, okay? So you want to also be able to find that happy medium, but knowing that physical exercise can also help alleviate the pain as well, okay? And so find someone also, when you're seeking out physical when you're seeking out speaking to your doctor or speaking to your healthcare provider, or if you go to physical therapy or whatever, find someone also that matches your energy level as well, and then your functional level in any given day, right? So if you're all the way here, if you're here and they're all the way here, and there's just things that you may not be able to do, finding somebody that can understand where you're at and is willing to work with you and help navigate through that process so that you can get to where you need to get to and feel confident about it, okay? So that's important. And again, a fear of injury, like I said, that's legitimate. I told you my experience with the bike, and I told you what I ended up doing was giving the bike to my granddaughter. So you do want the appropriate equipment because that's important. Sometimes you may need assistance with some of the devices that you may use. You may need supervision. You may need help with balance and strengthening exercises, especially, again, if you're an older adult, if you're an elderly person. So that you can reduce the risk of fall. So that's important also. So think about that. If you think you have balancing issue, if you know that you have balancing issues, right, get that assistance that is needed. You may need some help, okay, with that. Like this chair that I'm sitting in now, that has arms on it. So you may need to use this chair to help you get up, right, and to help you get back down. And so you can do a whole lot with a chair with arms, right? Okay, not only that, but it helps to strengthen your legs. So you're getting up and you're getting down, and then you're actually doing a squat, believe it or not. And so you are strengthening your legs while you're doing that. So just a little tip for that piece, but again, helping you with balance. And then the other thing, for some of us are on fixed income, some of us have no income, some of us have a lot of income. So it just depends on where you're at. But I know that sometimes we think about, I can't do this, I can't do that because of the cost of what it may be to stay fit. And believe it or not, it doesn't have to cost a lot, okay? For example, walking is free, right? And you can do, again, simple exercises at home, like I showed you, just lifting up with the chair, lifting down, doing exercises, chair exercises. So there's all kinds of things that you can do that you can incorporate even within your house. Okay, so the other thing, and then with the walking, it doesn't cost much. All you need is a good pair of sneakers. Now, you do need a good pair of sneakers so that you can walk, and because our feet are important. Sometimes our feet are the last things, and we always seem to neglect them. But a good pair of sneakers will help you. You can walk. That's all you need. Put your sneakers on, walk around your house, walk around your block, walk around your neighborhood, walk to the park. So you have a lot of different options that you can do. If you're a gardener, that's good exercise. Trust me, that is very good exercise. Pulling those weeds, gardening, raking, planting, digging, all that. Get your heart rate up. Mowing your lawn. You don't have to hire somebody. Save yourself some pennies, and you can mow it. And if you really want to be active, instead of getting one of those gas mows where you can sit on it, or the ones that just do it for you, you just have to do a slight push, you can get one of those old-fashioned kind and just push and pull yourself. That might be excessive, but it's getting your heart rate up. So just giving you some thoughts and some ideas around how you can save money, that it doesn't cost a lot. And then not only that, but like the YMCA has scholarships as well. So you can get scholarships at a lot of these places, the VOA, Volunteers of America. Also, there's scholarships there. A lot of communities have free classes that you can go to for free. So don't let cost be the deciding factor for not moving, because there is plenty of options for you to do that, to not have to pay an extensive amount of money. Okay. And then there may be some that have cognitive decline. Someone may be experiencing memory loss, and that's real. However, their body, physically, they may still be able to be healthy and capable of exercises. And so if that is the case, if you know someone that is experiencing memory loss or having cognitive decline, but if their body is still healthy, then they can still exercise as well. And as a matter of fact, it's been talked about that physical exercise is essential for maintaining the blood flow to the brain, and it may stimulate brain cell growth and survival. So keep that in mind too, that someone may be experiencing a memory loss or cognitive decline, but physical activity also can stimulate the brain and also helps the brain growth as well. So think about that also. So so you can keep the exercise simple, something like, again, walking, climbing stairs, or simple stretching. And so there's exercises like that that can be done. Okay, and then the other thing that has been a building roadblock, but doesn't have to be, is so a lot of people are isolated. A lot of people are alone. A lot of people who are aging, maybe they had a partner, maybe they had a spouse that has passed on, or that is not able to do some of the things anymore. And so then they don't do them for whatever reason. But you can still, so going, having another family member come and join in with you. For example, if you lost a spouse, and so you're not coming, like maybe you're not exercising anymore or going out anymore, but maybe a daughter or a friend or a neighbor, because it is nice to have a partner with you, someone that can come with you and keep you motivated, and you motivate them. So let that be sometimes, utilizing your family, utilizing your friends. And I understand sometimes even for older adults, they may stay isolated because it may not be safe. I know I talked about walking around your neighborhood, but depending on your neighborhood, it may not be the safest neighborhood to walk, or you may feel vulnerable and don't want to get out, so then you don't do anything at all. But if you can find a partner or an exercise program that you can be a part of, that will be helpful also. Again, like I said, there's the YMCA, there's Volunteers of America, there's community programs. A lot of neighborhoods have community centers where you can come together and exercise together as a group. So let that also be something to consider, so that you don't have to be isolated, that you don't have to be alone, because isolation, we know, can breed depression, and we don't want anyone depressed. We want you to be able to come together, to get out, to enjoy your time with other people, okay, and to stay active. Okay, and so those are some of the things that you can do as well. And then the other thing we talked about is sometimes you may be tired, you may be fatigued. Again, finding an exercise that matches where you're at, and then gradually increase your endurance level over time. So you don't have to be all of a sudden, I have to be able to run a marathon, or I have to be able to do this, or I have to be able to do that. No, take your time, find a fit that is enjoyable for you where you're at, and then build up to it. Build up to it. Again, one of my other expressions is slow and steady wins the race. And so just keep doing it a little bit at a time. And before you know, you may be running that marathon. You may start with a 3K. You may start with a 5K. Hey, you may not start with a all-out 22 miles, I think, for a full marathon. But customize your exercises to meet where you're at. But the goal is just to have you do something, okay? So let that lack of energy and maybe being tired, let that become a building block where you start with something that meets your needs, that meets your energy level, and then gradually, again, like I said, increase over time, okay? And then the other one is the attitude. Roadblock is your attitude. When it comes to physical activity, if you're thinking negative about it, like, oh, it's too hot, oh, it's too cold, oh, it's going to make me sweaty, oh, it's going to do this, oh, it's going to hurt. And so we can have a lot of ohs, and that is true. But when you approach it negatively, it is going to be much harder for you to be effective, to be honest. Okay, so if you're starting with oh, this and oh that, and that's that roadblock. Again, it's going to be the negativity is going to make it harder for you to have a successful exercise experience. So, with that being said, turn it into a building block. Choose activities, exercises that are enjoyable. Choose exercises that you like and that you look forward to. If you don't look forward to doing it, you're not going to do it, and it is going to be negative, and it is going to be hard, and it is going to be like wonk wonk. But so choose something that you like doing. Okay, until you get to that point where whether you like it or you don't, you're going to do it because you feel like this exercise will give me what I'm looking for, so I'm going to do it anyway. Like some people don't like lifting weights, but they feel like, oh, when they get to a certain point, they may choose to lift weights. But you may start off with bands. You may resistant bands will strengthen your muscles also, but you don't have to deal with the weights like a dumbbell or a barbell. You don't have to deal with that, but you may later on, once you get used to it and you get into the whole rhythm of exercise and strength training, then you may decide, now I can switch to a dumbbell. Now I can switch to a barbell. Now I can switch to doing these exercises using this type of equipment. But you may have to start with something different, something simple, and that's okay. Find exercises that you like, that you find that are enjoyable to start out, that's going to bring fun. If you like to dance, start with exercises dancing. Do a Zumba class if you like to move. I did this morning a class called Ula, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And so if you like dancing, if you like movement, if you like strength, whatever, if you like group activities, if you like doing it by yourself, whatever it is, if you want to just walk, if you like swimming, there's so many, if you like volleyball, if you like hiking, if you like outdoors, you like indoors. So whatever you like, theirs is an exercise that will match whatever it is that you like. And if there's not one, then guess what? You can create one. You can create your own exercise that works for you, right? And so that's important too. But the goal is to turn that negativity into a positive. So turn that smile up that's down, turn it upwards, right? So we're trying to get it up here. So when you come out after you've done it like, man, I feel good. Man, I feel great. Oh, my body feels good. Whatever it is, do it, but make it enjoyable for you, because remember, this is about you. At the end of the day, this is about you. So we want you to find what works for you, okay? So changing your attitude so that you find something that you look forward to doing. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to say is, at the end of the day, putting it all together, create a goal for yourself. Set goals. We have something we call the acronym SMART, SMART. And that means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So, exercise, when you put it all together, it could seem like a lot. It could feel overwhelming. But if you begin a slow process, if you find something specific that you want to do, and if you say, okay, this is measurable, I can measure this, right? And then you can say, not only can I measure it, like, okay, from this point to this point, but then I can achieve it. It's something that I can do. It's realistic. It's not like, okay, next month, I'm going to run a 22 mile, I'm going to run a marathon, but you haven't run ever. Chances are it's probably not going to be attainable to you if you've never run, and not in a week anyway, not in a month. But you may say, 1 year from now or 6 months from now, I'm going to purpose to run a marathon, something that's doable. So that's something that's attainable. That's attainable. Right? 1 year from now, 6 months from now, 3 weeks from now, probably not if you've never run. But 6 months, 1 year, obtainable, right? Realistic. Is it realistic? Does it make sense, that I can do this? There's some things that are in our mind, but it's not real. So we want our mind and we want the reality in real time to make sense. realistic and timely. Set a time, 6 months from now, 3 months from now, 1 year from now, 1 week from today. I want to be able to get up off my couch and I want to walk around the block. Or 1 week from today, I want to be able to do 3 times a week. I want to do X, Y, and Z. Things that are realistic, things that are timely. Set small goals, set big goals, short-term goals we call them, and then we also call them long-term goals. But the good news is that this is all about you and what you desire and what you want to do for you. But whatever you do, just move, just do something, because what? The summer is here. It will be here in 2 weeks. The weather is great, whether you like it indoors, whether you like it outside, there's a plethora of exercises that you can do. Dressing for the weather, if you're a walker and you want to walk, dress for the weather. Sometimes it may be rainy, sometimes it may be cool, sometimes it may not be. Or indoors, whatever you decide that you want to do, I just say, just do it. Set some goals for yourself. Turn all those roadblocks into building blocks and build yourself a body that you say, I am fit. I am fit to move. I am fit to do whatever I need to do. Every day I can get up. Most days I can get up. Whatever it is that you desire, that you want to do, guess what? You can do it. You can do it. And so I'm so excited. And so I hope that some of this information that I've shared with you that will be useful for you, useful to you, okay? And so, again, thank you for joining with me. Again, we were taking roadblocks, making them into building blocks for the summer, getting out, getting set, getting ready. 3 times 10 is a win-win. 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. You don't have to do it all together. You can do it in 10-minute increments. But guess what? When you do 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, you are winning, winning, winning. Thank you so much, and you have a great day, and I hope that you enjoy this as we beautifully age together. Bye-bye.